Thank you, guys, and welcome to those of you joining us on FS1 as Xavier goes inside to Usman. And last touched by Oso Ighodaro, the splendid five-man for this Marquette team. Nick Baugh, who has won 9 of their last 10 games.
Well, Oso Ighodaro just saved a dunk. There's a nice slip screen from Usman. He's all by himself, but great hands from Ighodaro.
Here is Desmond Claude, who's been this team's second leading scorer. Gives it up to McKnight. And a defensive rebound by Stevie Mitchell. Cam Jones at 3. It is a Xavier team that has lost 3 in a row, including a heartbreaking loss at home to Providence, a game in which the Musketeers really felt like they had a chance to win.
It just couldn't close the game from an offensive standpoint at all. They've had opportunities in a lot of these Big East games to win late.
Usman, the tap back good. And the rebounding battle is something that both coaches told us would be imperative today.
Took the words right out of my mouth. You know, when both coaches are talking about it, it's going to be emphasized.
That'll be an interesting matchup to pay attention to. Oso Ighodaro, arguably the most skilled big man in the country, against Abu Usman coming over from North Texas. A look at the standings. Marquette and everybody else chasing UConn. Xavier, though, Nick, has some work to do to shore up a top 5 seed in the Big East tournament and get that first round bye. Plus, they're also playing to get off the bubble and get into the NCAA tournament conversation as Ighodaro puts it in off the window.
Well, you know it's coming. A Ighodaro pick and roll. And it's so hard to stop. Those two guys are incredible in terms of their chemistry. And Kolek, who had 18 assists on Wednesday, picks up dropping dimes.
A school record, 18 assists, breaking Tony Miller's record that had stood since 1995. McKnight to Oliveri. Back to McKnight with 3. Swain at the buzzer in just his 3rd start of the season, Nick Baugh.
Well, and that was good defense from Marquette all the way down to the last second. And Swain doesn't need to do too much. He just needs to play off those 3 guards.
Turnover. Here comes Oliveri. And Xavier's leading scorer is on the board to start.
Well, Oliveri usually is hunting 3s in transition, but shot out of a cannon, getting all the way to the basket. I always love it when a shooter gets a layup to start the game.
David Joplin stripped by Desmond Claude, having a breakout sophomore campaign for the Musketeers. Claude for 3. And he has struggled in Big East play, shooting just 20% from downtown.
It's the one hole in his game. He shoots it well from the free throw line, so that means usually some touches there. Just hasn't been able to find any rhythm and flow from the three-point line.
Mitchell off the bounce, lays it in over the outstretched arm of Abu Usman.
Well, that floor is so spread out with all these athletic guards on the floor. An easy layup. Got to have some more help inside if you're Xavier.
Oliveri being chased by Kolek. Claude, a long lob into Usman, and it goes off the front of the rim.
Usman had the mismatch on Cam Jones, just an errant post-entry pass.
Swain steps it through, lays it in with a reverse. The true freshman leading this team in freshman minutes, playing nearly 19 minutes per game.
And he made the game-winning layup against Georgetown earlier this year, so he's been in when the game's on the line.
Cam Jones counted in the foul. He will get a chance at the 3-piece when we return from Milwaukee. A hot start for both teams.
Fast-paced, just like we expected here on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Milwaukee. Quincy Oliveri dropping it ahead to the freshman Dalen Swain, Euro stepping his way for 2. And how about Mr. Cam Jones on his birthday getting a deuce?
Tied at 8 at Fiserv Forum, 15:50 to go. Matt Schumacher and Nick Baugh with you here in the first half. A big-time game for both teams. For Marquette, they have lost just 1 game in their last 10. They're coming off 105 points against DePaul. That is the most in program history in a regulation Big East game. You could make the argument that he's in the Coach of the Year conversation again this season. And on the other side, Sean Miller's team, coming off that loss to Providence, said after the game that fatigue was a factor and told us today that his bench would have a longer rope. We expect him to have a deeper rotation this afternoon.
It's always easy to say before the game, a little bit harder to do in the game, but Trey Green has checked in for Xavier. Keep in mind, he had a big shooting performance in a road win at Providence. He had 23 points. We'll see if Green can fill it up. But here we go, this first three-quarter court, full-court press from Marquette. See how Xavier handles the basketball. I think turnover is going to loom large in this one.
So far, Marquette has turned it over 3 times in this game. And that's a good sign for the Musketeer fans. Trey Green knocks it in.
So one thing about those three-quarter court presses, if you break them, Matt, you can have open threes on the backside.
And an unforced turnover. That's the 4th for a Marquette team that's averaging just 10.5 per game.
Little sloppy, and a good job by Davion McKnight to break the press to score. And it's always nice to plant a shooter on the back end of that press, because if you can kick it ahead, you're going to have opportunities.
Green, one of a number of true freshmen playing in this Xavier lineup. They've had more minutes played by freshmen this year than any other year since the 1995-96 seasons. Chase Ross, fresh into the game for Marquette, wearing number 2. And last touched by Iguodaro.
Well, one thing that Shaka Smart said he was concerned about were the 3 guards for Xavier. Now, Trey Green's in, but he said you got to make them inefficient. And he said he really challenged Cam Jones and Tyler Kolek to defend today. So we'll see if those guys can answer the bell.
One of those guards, Desmond Claude, who has been so dangerous at times this year. Off the bounce, really tough shot forced by Iguodaro and tracked down by Chase Ross. He will take it all the way and draw 2 shots.
Boy, no numbers, no problem for Chase Ross. 1 on 3, 1 on 4. Did a nice job tracking down the loose change, and here it's a good job just seeking out contact and getting to the free throw line.
Well, in addition to both coaches talking to us about the importance of the glass tonight, Shaka Smart told you transition play on both sides of the ball would be paramount for his team to come away with a win this afternoon.
Yeah, especially Xavier really pushes the ball. They are excellent in transition. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Marquette to sprint back, get organized, stop the ball, especially Davion McKnight, who is just a missile with the ball. But Marquette is the same way. They are not shy in pushing it in the open floor. And any of these long rebounds, Marquette will look to attack right away. So stopping the ball, communicating in the open floor are going to be crucial for both teams.
Over 18,000 on hand this afternoon at Fiserv Forum. A record crowd expected, and a gold out for the Golden Eagles.
Tough shot, couple of tough pull-ups. Trey Green shot a tough 3 off the bounce. It's a tough one from Oliveri. He's capable, but you maybe want to explore, work a little more offense.
Joplin. And here comes McKnight in transition. Green left open. That's a 3, his 2nd of the first half.
But that's an example of what we're talking about. McKnight pushing it hard and shooters trailing. Really dangerous.
Oh, that's silky from Cam Jones with a response on his 22nd birthday of 3. Coming off a career-high 34 points against DePaul on Wednesday. Green, floater, yes sir. How about Trey Green with an early 8 points?
Well, he was the MVP of the Peach Jam, the big-time AAU event, so He can play.
Right back the other way. Another gentleman who can certainly play the game.
Yes, he can. Tyler Kolek. Any way you slice it, he's going to get back to that left hand and get downhill. And he's become more of an aggressive scorer, which has unlocked more of his passing ability.
The way he's played over the last 10 games, worthy of another Big East Player of the Year conversation. Oh, Oliveri thought he got bumped, and instead the ball trickles into the hands of Jones.
Kolek left his feet. I thought Oliveri could have jumped into Kolek.
Joplin at three. And Sasha Chani, one of those bench players expected to get more minutes this afternoon with a rebound. Chani needs help. Ross comes away with it. Throws it up to Jones.
Well, that is a EGB, energy generating behavior from Chase Ross.
McKnight, clear lane to the rim and lays it in.
You have shooters in both corners, so nobody wanted to come in and help on the penetration from McKnight.
Jones spins out of trouble, lays it in with the left hand. Cam Jones with 10 points in the first 9 minutes.
Just makes scoring look easy, doesn't it?
Green rejected. It was Chase Ross, and now Jones. Woo! Oh, lays right past Oliveri and puts it down. And a timeout taken by Sean Miller.
Well, the Golden Eagles on a little bit of a run because Cam Jones is starting to get busy. The spin back to his left hand, and then how pretty is this? It's the old Steve Smith move. Act like you're gonna pull it out. Instead, hit that baseline, hit the layup.
If you know anything about Shaka Smart, you know he's a big fan of what Nick Bod just referred to as energy-generating behaviors. Let's go inside the huddle with the head coach, Shaka Smart.
We're guarding these guys in the half court really, really well. Transition, transition, transition. You got to be in a stance. They call horns. They're coming up high in the horns. If we get hit, you got to bounce it. Get your ass in the stance. That's 5 guys. Great job diving on the floor. That's an EGB. Great job. That's what we need.
You darn right that's an EGB. Energy generating behavior. 5s, dabs, chest bumps, or dives on the floor. How about that? If you want to ask, what is Marquette basketball? It's that kind of a play. That's the kind of culture Shaka Smart is building here in Milwaukee, where they value the hustle plays, those EGBs, and it leads to a layup. That's a big-time play from Chase Ross, getting on the floor, getting a layup for Cam Jones.
And already tonight, you see the fast break points for these two teams. They want to get out and run,
yeah.
Nick, and Xavier's one of the top 5 teams in the country in terms of fast break points per game.
Well, now a little bit of zone from Marquette. They'll mix in some of this. They'll match up out of it.
Trey Green scored 8 straight points for Xavier at one point in this half. Dumps it down to Usman. And Xavier will get their first free throws of the game.
This is a game for Marquette where knowing personnel is really important. Keep in mind, these two teams haven't played each other yet. As crazy as that is to sound, it sounds, on February 25th is the first meeting. But you got to understand, if you get switched on to Desmond Claude, you can help. If you're on Oliveri, you can't help. There, the help needed to come off of Claude's guy, and instead he had stayed attached to him. So understanding on the fly who you're guarding, really important for Marquette, because you have guys that are really good shooters and guys that aren't very good shooters in this Xavier backcourt.
And for Xavier, Petus Namiksha checks in for the first time this afternoon off the bench. Usman 0 for 2. Cam Jones has scored 9 of the last 11 points for the Golden Eagles.
Desmond Claude guarding Oso Ighodaro.
Talk about a height discrepancy.
Yeah.
6'10".
And they got the switch back now.
Against 6'6", and Mitchell draws a foul on the Meek. What do you make of the opening 10 minutes of this game?
Well, transition has loomed large. I mean, I think it's a lot of what Shaka Smart talked about inside that huddle. Really both ways. I think both teams have done a decent job in the half court defensively, but where both teams have struggled is in the open floor. And so transition defense getting sorted out, stopping the ball. I think Trey Green has really loomed large, though, for Xavier. He's come in, provided a good punch of scoring.
Which is what this team has needed. They've so heavily relied, Nick, this year on Quincy Oliveri, Desmond Claude, Davion McKnight. And that's part of what Sean Miller was referring to when he said he sensed fatigue in his team, needing someone else to step up and take off some of the load from those 3 guards.
And not only load from a minute standpoint, but from just a scoring and playmaking standpoint as well. Look at Stevie Mitchell work.
Claude to Oliveri. And now Trey Green with 8 early points. And lost it out of bounds. That is the 4th Xavier turnover.
That is all, though. Stevie Mitchell set the tone. He was into the ball. And when the other 4 guys see that kind of effort, that gets you in a stance as well. So then Oso Ighodaro was able to switch. He was able to fight the dribble. But that's all Stevie Mitchell.
He is the leader in steals on this team. And second on the team in something else they track, deflections. 1 deflection coming into the game anyway behind Oso Ighodaro.
Ben Gold can shoot that way off on that pick and pop.
There's Mitchell again, deflecting it out of the hand of McKnight. It'll stay with the Muskies.
One last thing on Stevie Mitchell. I thought it was funny. Shaka Smart was talking about the 3 guards, and he said, I told the guys, you know, I think Stevie Mitchell, the best matchup for Desmond Claude, Stevie Mitchell. Best matchup for Quincy Oliveri, Stevie Mitchell. Best matchup. Yeah, it really challenged Cam Jones and Tyler Kolek. Like, listen, you guys are scoring, but we need you to step it up defensively here.
Oliveri tried to whip it down to Usman. It'll stay here for the Musketeers, 16 on the timer. Right now, the Musketeers listed as out by Mike DeCourcy, hovering right around that net 60 ranking, but this is one of 3 quad 1 opportunities over the next 5 games for the Musketeers.
Played a really difficult non-conference schedule. Played Houston, played at Purdue.
Claude, tough shot. And here comes Mitchell. Trey Norman into the game for the first time. Deflected by Usman.
Much better transition defense there from Marquette.
They just seem to do such a good job of making you dribble.
And because there's nowhere to pass. They're denying entry passes, so it forces you to probably over-dribble. And then they front the post, make throwovers tough. That's the other part of the defensive plan for Marquette as well.
Is there a better guard in the country at doing what Tyler Kolek just did? Nothing there, so he creates something out of nothing and draws a foul.
He just has a way of creating scoring opportunities. And this guy is on quite a tear here of late. That's the thing that's amazing. Reigning Big East Player of the Year. All his numbers are up from a year ago. Scoring up, 3-point percentage up, rebounds up. Like, this guy's playing at a high level.
Ighodaro stripped by Claude, and the foul against the Xavier sophomore.
I told you I was excited for it, and it just happened. It's my favorite look Marquette runs is the 5-1 ball screen with Iguodaro and Kolek, where Iguodaro's the one coming off the on-ball screen set by Tyler Kolek. That is a really, really effective play for Marquette.
And there aren't too many other 6'10 guys in the country that are able to run that. Kolek getting tended to by the training staff. Will stay in the game, though. Joplin will re-enter. Trey Norman heads to the bench.
No, you bring up the size from Iguodaro and the ball handling. That is something Shaka Smart has really challenged Iguodaro, is improving his ball handling, and he's already got that versatility. He's become a better ball handler, and he's become a better playmaker.
Inside to Usman, missed the layup. And now he's stuck. 2 looks at the rim, and it won't go.
That ball's got to get finished if you're Abu Usman.
McKnight pushing the pace and pressing the issue, draws a foul. An early Marquette lead, 6-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes. And they are on top 22-18. 2 coaches with a lot of winning experience this time of year. Xavier trying to stay in the NCAA tournament conversation with a win today. Officially a sellout at Fiserv Forum, over 18,000 on hand, working on a win against the Musketeers, who are down 4 as we go inside the huddle with the Musketeer head coach Sean Miller.
One, we're fouling way too much. Like, the fouls are undisciplined plays. If you just jump with your hands straight up, you hit them with your chest, if they make the shot, it's a tough 2. You're bailing them out, and quite frankly, they're not converting. You can't keep fouling. Just because they drive doesn't mean I'm gonna take my right arm and hit you across the head or reach in across. Can't do it.
Well, Nick, this is a team that is fighting for its NCAA tournament life. You see the quad 1 wins, just 2. They are 2-9 in quad 1 games. This is a quad 1 opportunity for the Musketeers.
And they're going to have another quad 1 opportunity at Butler, and another one where Marquette comes to the Cintas Center as well. The strength of schedule really good, sitting at 4. This team really played a difficult non-con, and they're capable, and they're going to have opportunities down the stretch here. And you know that guy's going to press all the right buttons, and I love their veteran backcourt. It was really coming together.
Speaking of, Oliveri off the mark. Now 1 for 4 to start the game. Doesn't get any more open than that for Quincy Oliveri. Kolek off the bounce. He has been quiet to start as well. Both Oliveri and Kolek each with just 2 points.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Kolek to put his foot on the gas here.
Inside to Inze, one of the guys we anticipated seeing more tonight. Played just 1 minute against Providence, getting extended minutes in the first half for Xavier.
Wow, a lot of contact from Abu Usman.
Joplin from downtown. And it's a 9-0 Marquette run. And Xavier has missed their last 7 shots, and it's last touched by Marquette, so it'll stay here for Xavier.
Well, it's a good play from Stevie Mitchell, just thinking about creating a shot for a teammate, getting a piece of the paint under control. Inze helps. You got to understand, you do not want to help off the reigning Big East 6th Man of the Year, David Joplin, and he makes you pay.
What do you want to see from Xavier here in the half court? They haven't scored in nearly 5 minutes.
They got to slow down. Right now, Marquette has them way sped up with their on-ball pressure. Maybe a back door could be on deck. But ultimately, you got to be able to just handle the ball, be tough, and make a play against this on-ball pressure.
Claude lost it in traffic. And the 6th Xavier turnover. Open 3 for Joplin. Great rebounding effort by Claude. Here comes Oliveri. Inze right there to put it back.
But somebody from Marquette's got to be there to stop the ball. I mean, Quincy Oliveira is able to get all the way to the rim in the open floor. And then speaking of stopping the ball, you got to corral Tyler Kolek as well. Wow, another great push.
Claude for three. Conchi down there making his presence felt on the glass. Claude, one more opportunity, and he'll pull it back out. And a foul on Stevie Mitchell. That is his second.
Well, you're seeing Marquette what they can do defensively. They'll pressure the ball, they deny wing entry passes, they front the post, and they get you just sped up. They get you playing a little faster than what you want to play. And that's where Xavier's just had a ton more success when they've gotten out in the open floor because they haven't had to deal with that half-court pressure from Marquette. But Marquette, when they've gotten their half-court defense set, it's been pretty good.
To shoot for Green. McKnight airball went off the thigh of Kolek, and the question is, did the shot clock go off before it was whistled out of bounds? And it is a shot clock violation, so back to Marquette.
I think that's the right call, too. Take another look at it. Ball's going to hit Kolek. We'll see, did it hit the baseline before it went officially out of bounds? Yeah, that's really close.
Ty goes to the runner on that one. Kolek a three.
He hesitated a little bit. Kolek's just got to let that thing fly.
Joplin wiggles past Inze. And last touch by Xavier. They're going to reverse the call, and it'll go back to the Musketeers. Nick, the Musketeers just won for their last 14 from the floor. And if you remember in their last game, let's get another look at this here.
Let's see if it went off. Ooh.
Bang, bang on both sides.
That's a tough one.
If you remember in their last game against Providence, they had that 5-minute stretch without a bucket in the second half. That has been a bugaboo for this team throughout the course of the season. And a lob to Ben Gold. Hammer time. Biggest lead of the game for Marquette. Swain bumps it in.
Great cut from Dalen Swain, but you bring up the droughts from Xavier. I think the droughts is where they miss a guy like Nunji to be able to just throw the ball into somebody in the post and draw a foul, get an easy one.
Oh, rhythm three knocked in by Cam Jones. 15 points for the birthday boy.
This guy makes scoring look like it's just a walk in the park on a Sunday afternoon in Milwaukee.
Oliveira still with just 2 points on 1 for 5. McKnight tapped out by Usman and saved by Cam Jones. And he is a little bit shaken up behind the play. Kolek gets it to him. Jones a three. Usman going to work on the smaller Chase Ross. And it's back to single digits. 3 minutes to play in the first half.
And Matt, there's been a couple of those shots right at the rim that Xavier's missed. How to convert, especially when you get a mismatch from one of your frontline guys on a guard.
Goal to three. knocked over, kept his dribble. Leads the Big East in assist-to-turnover ratio. He keeps it on a string.
But do people understand the real quick, like that Kolek pass there, that's such a good pass. Like that's not an easy pass. Those hook passes with his left hand going to the right side of the floor. Those are hard passes, Matt.
Green forcing the issue. And Trey Green with 10 points in the first half in 10 minutes. Sean Miller tells his starting point guard to slow it down a little bit here with 2 minutes to play in the opening frame. Usman won't go. And that's a couple of missed layups now for Abu Usman. Oh, Cam Jones. Spin cycle with some English. And he'll get 2 shots when we return. A high-level matchup, 32-26 here in Milwaukee with a minute and a half to go in the first half. Cam Jones with the hezzy and the hoop, and he has been hooping this afternoon.
He's bouncing around and shoot around. He's usually got a lot of energy, but a little extra energy because it's his birthday. He turns 22, and he's already got 15 points in this first half, and he's done a little bit of everything. When he spins back to that left hand, he is really difficult. This was the highlight play of the game so far. Hitting that baseline, little stop and go. It's a big-time score coming off a 34-point performance, and he has stayed hot in this contest so far.
And last season on his birthday in this building, hit 7 threes in the game, including a buzzer beater to end the first half against DePaul. Already 15 points to start, and he's at the free throw line for 2 shots.
I think his personality blends well with Kolek. Kolek is kind of an intense, super competitive, killer kind of a guy. And Cam Jones is a little more fun and playful and energetic. So those 2 guys who are the leaders of this team, along with Iguodaro, who's kind of just that stoic, versatile big man down low. Just a good blend of personalities.
You know what's interesting, Nick? In chatting with Shaka Smart this week, asking him, what's it take to get your team to a deep run in March? He pointed at Cam Jones. He is an X factor in the eyes of Shaka Smart for a deep run at the Big East tournament, and then, of course, March Madness. Last touch by Quincy Oliveri, and that is the 8th Xavier turnover. Active hands for Marquette to start.
Well, how about Iguodaro able to recover onto the Big East leading 3-point shooter? Great hands, great play.
Jones off the bounce. Rebound Iguodaro, and he is headed to the free throw line.
Just a lot to guard there. You got Kolek coming with his left hand, who can score. You got Iguodaro rolling down the middle, who's awesome in those spots. You can swing it to the opposite side of the floor where Cam Jones can drive it middle with his left hand. I mean, there's just a lot to deal with in that simple roll-replace action with Kolek, Iguodaro, and Cam Jones.
Well, the last time we went inside the huddle with Sean Miller, he talked about his team fouling too much. They put Marquette in the bonus for the final minute of this first half. Coming up at the half, first half stats and analysis. Shaka Smart mic'd up at practice. That's all coming up on the Jeep halftime reports. Marquette is +9 in free throw attempts in the first half. .60 seconds to go in the opening frame in Milwaukee. To Inze, and he took too many steps. The 9th turnover on the Musketeers.
Ran that play twice, ran it to start the game, where you get Iguodaro extended from the basket, you slip the screen to the rim. Both times looked like it was there, and both times ended in a turnover.
Xavier has got 12 of their 26 points off the bench. The bench is doing their job.
Yes.
Jones. And here comes McKnight. Xavier needs more from their big 3. Oliveri off the back iron, and here comes Kolek.
Good decision from Kolek.
And Shaka Smart's going to burn his timeout with 29.4 left in the first half. Well, Saturday night, it's Fox Primetime Hoops as Zach Edey continues his path towards back-to-back Player of the Year awards when he leads third-ranked Purdue against Michigan State. Coverage begins Saturday, 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Purdue is rolling.
Yes. Lance Jones pick up in the portal has really helped them, but it just seems like a team that's on a mission after getting upset first round. Fairleigh Dickinson 16 seed over a 1 seed, but there's a reason the committee had Purdue as the #1 overall seed. I mean, their body of work thus far warrants that.
You know who played a really good game against Purdue earlier on this year?
Yes, I do.
Marquette Golden Eagles, all the way back around Thanksgiving at the Maui Invitational. Hard to believe it was that long ago.
I know.
That was an epic game.
It was a great game. And then Xavier actually played Purdue pretty tough.
Yes, they did.
On the road at Mackey for about 30 minutes. And then Purdue just pulled away. But no, that game in Maui was tremendous. Marquette really put a beat down on Kansas in their matchup with the Jayhawks in Hawaii as well.
A 5-second differential between game and shot clock here. Joplin hounded and back out to Jop. His first season as a starter after he was the Big East Sixth Man of the Year a season ago. And Kolek with the blow by +1 for the reigning Big East Player of the Year.
Sean Miller was trying all he could to get the ball out of Kolek's hands. He was having two Musketeers run at him the whole possession. And Abu Usman ran at the wrong side and gave Kolek just an easy path to the basket. See, Usman's on that right side instead of the left, and so Kolek gets a free run to the rim and now a three-point play opportunity.
Marquette just 5 for 11 from the free throw line to start this game. And another miss for the Golden Eagles, who've shot it right around 72% in league play. McKnight with 5 seconds left in the first half. Picked off by Iguodaro. 1 second. Did he beat it? He did not. Waved off by Jeffrey Clark. But at 6'10", he can get down the court in a hurry.
Pretty impressive.
One more look at it. Maybe a split second more if he gets that ball out of his hands, beating the shot clock. But Marquette in a tightly contested battle early, starting to put their mark on this game in a building in which they've lost just 1 time in the last 2 seasons. Cam Jones leads all scorers with 16 on his 22nd birthday. It's the 7th-ranked Marquette Golden Eagles on top by 10 at the half in Milwaukee. Record crowd expected on hand this afternoon here at Fiserv Forum. Marquette got 10 Xavier turnovers in the first half, turned those into 7 points, and they got 16 in the first half from the birthday boy Cam Jones, and they lead it by 10 after the opening 20 minutes. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Nick Baugh with you. You said it, Nick, that Shaka Smart told us the thing he was most scared of with Xavier was their big 3. They were basically non-existent in the first half.
Yes. Oliveri, Davion McKnight, Desmond Claude combined for 4 points in that first half. Between the 3 of those guys, they averaged 47 points per game. So Shaka Smart really wanted to put the clamps down on those 3 guys, and they did just that.
And on the other side, Marquette got 16 points from Cam Jones, who's coming off 34 on Wednesday night, picking up right where he left off.
Yeah, he has been tremendous for the last game and a half and making it look easy. Just taking what the defense gives him, getting to his left hand, getting to his spots, hitting threes, getting to the basket, hitting mid-range shots, getting in the open floor. He is just playing with a great amount of confidence, and he has been big time on his birthday.
Scored 22 points on his birthday last year in this building, hit 7 threes, and 6 of 10 in the first half in this game. A game in which Xavier, it feels like, is as close to a must-win game as you can have with still 5 games left to play in the regular season, and those numbers say it all.
Yeah, I mean, that's it right there. You're not going to win very many games when your big three have those kinds of shooting performances. But I think this first 5-6 minutes are crucial, especially for Xavier.
There is Oliveri. Was 1 for 6 in the first half, 0 for 3 from distance. Off the bounce, and will get the friendly roll.
Well, Oliveri made a layup to start the game. He gets a layup to start the second half.
If you're just joining us, it's a Marquette team that has won 9 of their last 10 games. Their only loss over that stretch to a #1 UConn team on the road. Mitchell with the left hand, won't get it. Dalen Swain the rebound, making his 3rd start of the year for the Musketeers.
It's a good look for the Big East leading 3-point shooter. It just misses it.
Kolek, great feed to Joplin, +1, a chance at a 3-point play.
Tyler Kolek, man, it goes left, goes right. He sees this pocket pass better than any guard in the country. He's averaging almost 10 assists a game the last handful of games. Again, 18 assists the other night. How fun would it be to play with Tyler Kolek?
You tell me.
You just run the floor, you cut hard, he is going to find you.
Well, problematic for Xavier because that was the 3rd foul on Abu Usman. And remember, this is a Xavier team that has played most of the year without much of a bench. Zach Fremantle out for the year. Jerome Hunter out for the year. Both anticipated to be starting bigs on this Xavier team. Both returning from that run to the Sweet 16 a year ago.
Yeah, you insert Hunter and Fremantle, and the picture changes quite a bit for Xavier. And they've had to navigate that throughout the entire season.
Struggle to get the ball in here from McKnight. Just does beat the count. Desmond Claude was scoreless in the first half. He's averaging 16 points per game. And Usman, a 3rd opportunity, left it short, and Iguodaro comes away with it. 2-on-2. Jones, up and under, won't go. Joplin the putback good. Biggest lead of the game for the Golden Eagles.
One team's making their layups, Marquette. One team isn't, in Xavier.
Point blank looks at the rim tonight for the Musketeers. And a whistle on Oliveri. He scooted with the pivot foot, the 11th turnover for Xavier.
Great push from Kolek, kick back to Cam Jones, and then David Joplin not assuming anything's going in, pursuing the offensive glass, gets the tip in.
And there's really just not much Abu Usman could do there to stop the initial drive because he's playing with those 3 fouls.
Right.
And now he'll go to the bench as Kachi Nze comes on. So does Trey Green, who had 10 points in the first half for the Musketeers. Jones at 3.
Not quite how you draw it up, but a batted down lob goes right back to Kolek. You spray it out to Jones. I don't know why nobody's on the hottest guy in Milwaukee, and he drills another 3.
Green wiggling through traffic and draws a foul. Only 3 Marquette fouls in the first half, and you talked about it. They did such a good job of creating turnovers, causing havoc without fouling.
Yeah, which is hard to do. To play hard, to play aggressive, but to do it intelligently.
Conversely, Xavier had 8 first half fouls and allowed 11 free throws for Marquette in that first 20 minutes.
And the turnover.
Almost gave it back up instead. It's Jones lays it in. 21 for Cam Jones.
But it all starts with trapping the baseline out of bounds pass in the corner and forces the turnover and the run out. Golden Eagles starting to sink their teeth into Xavier.
Green, a deep three. Musketeers on the wrong end of a 10-0 run. They had that 5-minute drought in the first half. McKnight wins it back, and here comes Desmond Claude. McKnight with the left hand off the window, and a timeout taken by Sean Miller. And we will take it with them, a 16-point deficit for the Xavier Musketeers, who are just trying to hang in and keep their tournament hopes alive. Today, Marquette celebrates the 50th anniversary of the 1973-74 Marquette Warriors team's run to the NCAA Final Four, led, of course, by the legendary head coach Al McGuire. And who could forget Bo Ellis, the only Marquette player to play in 2 national championship games. Many of the members of that team who led Marquette to its first ever Final Four appearance here today and honored at halftime. National runners-up that season. Then just a few years later, Nick won the national championship, the only natty for this Marquette program.
Yeah, you feel like this team kind of laid the foundation for that championship banner to get hung. But pretty cool to see these Marquette Warriors getting honored at halftime. Shooting shirts for Marquette, honoring the 74 team.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like the Warriors.
I do too.
And they got the gold thing going, so it kind of reminds me of the Golden State Warriors.
Golden Eagles works too, though.
It does. It's also very good. And Marquette has been very good again today, especially to start the second half. They had a 10-0 run before a quick 2 and a timeout, and they go right inside to Oso Ighodaro, and it's back to an 18-point lead.
It's so tough to guard. The floor gets spread, and you got your 5-man who is really good off the bounce with the whole middle of the floor to go to work.
Desmond Claude on the bench for Xavier. 0 for 7 in the game so far. And a foul on David Joplin. And if you're just joining us, that was really the story of the first half. Xavier had just 26 points, 12 of those coming from the bench, 10 of which were scored by the true freshman Trey Green. And Claude, Oliveri, and McKnight were held to just 4 points on 2 of 17 shooting, and they have carried the load all year for Xavier.
They've had to do everything for the Musketeers and just not been able to find any rhythm offensively here today.
How much of that do you credit Marquette's defense, and how much of that do you think is they're just not making shots?
A little bit of both. Certainly got some shots they can usually make, but you got to tip your cap to Marquette as well.
Here are the standings as of today. Seton Hall picking up a big win against Butler yesterday, currently in 3rd. Marquette slotted as the 2 seed right now in the tournament. Xavier with some work to do to get above that red line.
Yeah.
And those 5 teams above the line, Nick, get the first round bye, which, as you well know, is paramount in that tournament.
And St. John's picked up a big win today at home inside Madison Square Garden against Creighton. Creighton coming off their big win over UConn, and then they take on Rick Pitino in that white suit. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah.
Very Garden-esque.
Yes, it is.
But it's that stretch of the year where everybody's beating everybody as Cam Jones draws a foul on Davion McKnight, and Sean Miller is sitting on the bench with his cheek in his palm. It has been that type of afternoon. And he said it in the first half when we went inside the huddle. We are fouling too much, and that has trickled over into the second half.
And Xavier is still yet to make a free throw. So like on the other side of it, they're not able to get to the free throw line, draw fouls.
Nick, they had 2 free throw attempts in the first half. That's the fewest by any Big East team this season in conference play.
It's incredible. It's incredible also because it's not like Xavier just stood around and cast 35 threes or anything like that. They were attacking the basket, and it's not like Marquette wasn't being aggressive. They were being aggressive, but there was intelligence defensively from Marquette, and Xavier just wasn't able to play through the contact enough to be able to get to the free throw line.
Xavier 1 for the last 7 from the floor. in desperate need of a run here. They've lost 3 in a row. And this is one of 3 remaining Quad 1 games, and that is dribbled off the heel of Desmond Clyde. Out of sorts.
Yeah.
Since they led in this game, 18-16.
Yeah, it's not like Xavier didn't get off to a good start. They did, which is also just have really lacked any rhythm.
Tap out Jones at 3. His knack for making the timely shot is uncanny, and he has 26 today.
And the ball seems to find him in those.
Off the bounce to Green, who was super hot in the first half at 10 points. Scoreless so far in the second half. Kolek passes up a layup, and Joplin rims out a 3.
That's an incredible pass, though. I don't know how he saw Joplin trailing behind him and hit him perfectly in stride at the 3-point line.
It's because he has eyes in the back of his head.
That was a perfect example of it.
Usman showing a little finesse with the up and under.
Finally getting a layup to go down for Abu Usman.
Do you think Tyler does have eyes?
I think he must. I don't know how he saw David Joplin. I know that won't go as an assist, but that was incredible. And
what about that pass? That was a nice one. Jones.
Well, and I think Kolek, that stuff's contagious. You know, they watch him drop dimes, lead the Big East in assists, and I think the other guys want to do the same thing.
Oliveri, step back 3. It's his first triple of the game. And a timeout taken by Sean Miller. 20-point deficit for the Musketeers. And just 2 timeouts left for Sean Miller's club. Look at this pass from Cam Jones.
That's not easy. Little ball fake to the corner, stay up in the air, drop it down to his big man, and his bench is loving it with the vision from Cam Jones.
Well, his teammate Tyler Kolek has 9 assists. He had 18 in their game against DePaul on Wednesday. It broke a school record set by Tony Miller back in 1995-96. And for all the talent that this team has, Tyler Kolek is the straw that stirs the drink. And Nick, over this 10-game stretch, he's averaging nearly a double-double.
Yeah, almost 10 assists a game. And you look at Marquette, and they return everybody except Omax Prosper.
Yep.
And they're a little bit of a victim of the standard they set last year, where they feel like they're, even though they're a top 10 team in the country, flying a little bit under the radar. It's a really good team.
What do you think that is, flying under the radar nationally?
I just think that, you know, it's one thing to do something when no one expects you to do it. It's another thing to do it when everyone expects you to do it. And I think they're just a little bit in that world, which is a little unfortunate as Oliveri gets a layup to go down. But Marquette is really playing well. I know they took it on the chin pretty good at UConn. A lot of teams do when they go take on Danny Hurley's squad.
Particularly on the road.
Yes.
Jones slips it into Iguodaro, who was tagged on the wrist. And the big fella is headed to the line.
Well, we talk about Kolek and how good he is, but I think Iguodaro is one of the most unique players in the country. He is really hard to guard. He's one of those versatile 5-men. He can't shoot threes, but he can do about everything else you want in a stretch 5. He can handle it. He can pass it. He can drive it. He's athletic. He can switch onto guards defensively. This guy is, I think he's one of the more under-discussed great players, not just in the Big East, but in the country.
And Nick, just a few years ago, in his first season at Marquette, he played a total of 38 minutes. Yes, 38 minutes the entire season. His old coach gets let go. Shaka Smart gets hired. He thinks about transferring. Boy, it's a good thing for the Marquette fans that he didn't.
And a good thing for Oso Iguodaro that he did.
No question. It's been a perfect marriage. Shaka Smart and his staff and Oso Iguodaro.
Yes.
to shoot for McKnight. Trying to get around Iguodaro. Somehow scoops it up and in with the left hand.
Ridiculously tough shot from Davion McKnight.
Xavier needs to start putting together stops. This will not be a stop. It's a foul on Sasha Chani.
But how about that? Made basket. Who brings it up the floor? Your five-man, Iguodaro. He's got the whole right side of the floor isolated against Chani. How many five-men defensively can deal with what we just saw, where they're probably going to have to foul?
It's a big reason why Oso Iguodaro is a projected first-round draft pick from many NBA draft pundits. As he goes to work on Chani, too heavy, tap out Jones, a three. Got it from downtown. Cam Jones, 29 on his 22nd birthday.
How many just batted out balls are going to end in Cam Jones' hands, and he's wide open to the three-point line? Incredible.
12 second chance points for Marquette. Defensive rebounding has been an issue all year for Xavier. It was in the second half in the loss to Providence. And other than ball control, it is what Sean Miller told us could not happen today, giving up second chance opportunities.
And that scenario there, Trey Green blocked out, but he just didn't jump. And Trey Green's not blessed with great size, so an easy tap over the top of him.
And just misses out on a three-piece opportunity. Cam Jones is not missing out on lighting it up on his birthday.
Little kick out, Cam Jones turning 22, knocking down a couple of threes. Pretty good day for Marquette.
Hopefully every time we step foot in Fiserv Forum, there's a March Madness feel. We're fortunate. We have some of the best fans in the country. Our student section envelops both ends of Fiserv Forum, and they kind of fight over which end has more energy. So there's always a terrific feeling in the building that reminds you of March.
Well, Fiserv Forum has been rolling today. Over 18,000 on hand. It's a gold out. And we have heard that it's possible they will break the record, which is 18,095. And Nick, this team has lost just one conference game in this building in the last 2 years. It was this year to Butler in early January. And since then, they have won 9 of 10 games, with the only loss at #1 UConn.
Well, I always say that the first order of business, if you want to win a conference championship, is you better be pretty dang good at home. And Marquette's been just that. And there's a reason there's a Big East championship banner from last season hung in this building. They've been tough to beat in here, and it's been more of the same this year for Marquette.
I just get a feeling that this team is uber connected. At a point in the season in which you told me, in your experience as a player, that you just start to feel the sludge of a full season on your legs.
Yes, your body is the wear and tear is at its height, and you don't have the energy that comes from March just yet. You're in that conference grind where everybody knows you like the back of their hand, and it's really, really hard. But Marquette's been through it as a group, and that helps you, where Xavier hasn't.
Davion McKnight, step back jumper.
Claude's the only guy that really went through it last year in the Big East.
And he didn't go through it in this role.
No, correct.
Norman, the freshman, clearing Claude and laying it in. You know, last year, Desmond Claude averaged 4.5 points per game. This year, he basically doesn't come off the floor, leads the team in minutes, and he's second on the team in scoring. Oh, by the way, often gets the opposing team's best offensive weapon as his defensive assignment.
Yeah, and to close games last year was Sule Boom, it was Colby Jones, it was Jack Nungy, and way down the list it was Desmond Claude. Well, who's had the ball in their hands in crunch time all season? It's been Desmond Claude. You know, it's a big leap to make And he's really done a nice job. He's had a tough afternoon. And I think the future is bright for Desmond Claude. But today's one of those days where you adjust to that world of being #1 on the scouting report.
And those numbers say it all. You know, Desmond Claude, Quincy Oliveri, and Davion McKnight. You can make the case for all three. Have been asked a ton. And a lot of that, Nick, has to do with the fact that Zach Fremantle and Jerome Hunter are unavailable for the entirety of this season.
Yeah, those two guys were going to be the guys that are going to lead the charge. They're going to play through those guys inside out.
And two guys, to your point, that have been through it. Yes. Part of that Sweet 16 team a season ago. Inside to Usman, and Zay comes away with it, dunks it home with two hands. Xavier still fighting, down 63-45. And Ben Gold tracks down the miss. 20 on the timer for Tyler Kolek. Gold left open. That's a three.
He's not shot it great from three this season, but you know he is capable, and you know that he wants to shoot threes. Almost 80% of his field goal attempts are threes. And oh, by the way, another great pick and pop pass from Tyler Kolek.
His 10th assist of the game. 8th time this year he's had 10 or more assists.
I could watch Kolek pass all day. It is just so pretty.
Right back out to goal. He's not even looking to shoot.
It's so good. I am vowing for the final. I've already done it, but for the final 9 minutes and 30 seconds, I don't care if the shot's made. If Kolek makes a good pass, I am going to talk about how good of a pass that was. Hey, this is a touch pass to a trailer right on the money. Incredible, Matt. Hey, that is so good.
You know, in talking with Shaka Smart, we've had the opportunity to ask him throughout the course of Kolek's career here at Marquette, what makes him special? And yes, he's evolved his game, but Shaka has always told us he's about the things that go into winning.
Yes, and that has to be the case from your point guard and your leader. No reason a lot of winning has ensued over the last season and a half.
Open shot. Zay Lowry rims it out. Rebound Joplin. And a foul on the floor will go against the Musketeers. And that is the 6th on the team. 1-1 that puts Marquette in the bonus the rest of the way. 3rd foul on Quincy Oliveri, who has just struggled offensively tonight. 9 points on just 1 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. And he has been the best three-point shooter in the conference this year. Joplin a three. Oh, and it bounces off the foot of Swain. And Marquette will get it back with 10 to shoot. Lowry tries a three. Mitchell on the save from Joplin. And they won't get the shot off. A shot clock violation. They had many opportunities there. Credit to Xavier for not allowing them to find the bottom of the bucket.
Well, and if you're Sean Miller, though, those are those plays. I know you're down 21 points. There's a loose ball. Kolek got it. There was a long rebound. Marquette saved it. And you got to keep on competing.
And Desmond Claude called for the travel. That's the 15th turnover on Xavier. And that is the most in a Big East game this year. Previous season high was 14 in league play. And you just can't have that on the road in this building in front of this crowd against this team.
And this is a good learning experience, though, for Desmond Claude. When you're going, when your life as the man, even if you're struggling, you got to find a way to make an impact, and your body language has to stay consistent.
Iguodaro is plotting his way into the lane, and now Iguodaro with 12 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Oliveri trying to track it down, cannot. Here comes Mitchell, 3-on-2 for Marquette. And last touch by the Musketeers. It'll be Marquette basketball when we return. All Marquette all night long, the number 7 team in the country in front of a sold-out Fiserv Forum. And they are being treated to a good one. And 29 by Cam Jones. Sold-out Fiserv Forum, over 18,000 on hand, and a gold-out day for the top 10 team in the country. Marquette on top 68-45. They've won 9 of 10 games, and they're looking like number 10 is coming here shortly. A look at their tournament resume: 6 Quad 1 wins with still 3 Quad 1 games left. They will play at Xavier at the end of the year, but Nick, right now projected to be in the South region as the 2 seed with the likes of Houston, Bama, and Illinois. That is a murderer's row of teams.
Good luck to everybody in that region if that's how it ends up shaking out. But Marquette's positioned themselves nicely. They challenged themselves in the non-con. They picked up some nice wins. They got more opportunities down the stretch. Depending on what happens, they finish strong, go win the Big East tournament, and a 1 seed isn't out of the question.
Oh my goodness! Stevie Mitchell, are you kidding me?
He was leading that huddle, was very vocal. He goes out, practices what he preaches.
Shock Smart says there's just an energy about Stevie Mitchell as Trey Green knocks it in. 12 points for the freshman. Just a steadying force, but also an energy generator for this team as Kolek lays it in with the left hand. And Green stepped on the line. That is turnover number 16 for Xavier. And it has been a frustrating day for the Musketeers, who at one point led in this game, 18-16 in the first half. And then Marquette closed the first half on a 20-8 run over the final 11 and a half minutes.
Interesting from Sean Miller. Brad Colbert, a walk-on in the game here for 45. Shuffling guys in and out. I think you're trying to send messages right now if you're Sean Miller.
Well, the season is not lost.
No.
Just yet for Xavier, because as we discussed, they will have Marquette again. They will have Butler on the road. Those are 2 Quad 1 opportunities. And then you've got Georgetown and DePaul. Those are obviously must-wins. Plus the Big East tournament. There's a lot of season left for sure for Xavier. And while we thought, Nick, coming into this game that it felt must-win, we knew that mathematically it's not yet for Xavier. There is still a path for this team, but they have to win against Marquette the second time around.
Yeah, when Marquette comes to Cincinnati, you better get that win. There's no doubt about it. And a day like today, in this moment, you're about establishing certain things that you know that are going to serve you well in a game like that. And so it seems like Sean Miller is shuffling guys in and out. If you miss a block out, you're coming out. If you turn it over, you're coming out. If you miss a defensive rotation, you're coming out.
This is what is coming up down the line for Xavier. DePaul and Georgetown, then those 2 Quad 1 opportunities, which, barring something crazy here over the next 6.5 minutes, are must-win games.
Yes.
Stevie Mitchell deflecting it out of bounds.
So obviously that gets charted for what Marquette keeps track of. Deflections, goal is 32. It looked like the board at the last time out said 28, so getting close to it.
so many things that this program tracks. You referenced it, but it's worth repeating. DAPS, or an energy-generating behavior, literally high-fiving your teammate, gets tracked. What I want to know is, who is tasked with that burden? Every high five? It takes a special observer.
Yeah, it does.
Kolek not looking to pass on that one. +1 for the reigning Big East Player of the Year.
Tough shot coming right at you. The left-handed stud gets to his left hand, gets it to go off the window. And we talked to Shaka Smart and said, well, what's... I said, think of the first time you coached him in practice till now, where has he improved the most? And he talked about his aggression to score, that he's built to pass. Obviously, it's what he does best. But he's really tried to get him to think about scoring more, because the more aggressive he is to score, the more it opens up those passing lanes.
And he even told you, I'd actually like him to look to score even more.
Yeah.
A little check out for Cam Jones. So Kolek goes to the bench with 11 points and 10 assists, a double-double. Coming off a career high and school record 18 assists on Wednesday against DePaul. Special player.
Yes, 28 assists in 2 games. Incredible.
If you were a betting man, you think he has a shot at Big East Player of the Year again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
To me, there are a handful of guys in that conversation. Tristan Newton, Devin Carter, Baylor Shireman, Kadari Richmond, and that guy right there, Tyler Kolek. And you look at what Marquette's doing. Marquette is winning. His numbers. Look at the last 10 games. And that's not just Big East Player of the Year stuff. That's all-American level stuff right there. Oh, he's definitely in the conversation.
This is his 6th double-double of the season. All points and assists. And you're right, the way he has played for this team, particularly as they've come on. Now they'll be winners of 10 of their last 11. And the numbers we just showed on your screen are his numbers over that stretch.
Yeah, what he does tangibly and intangibly is just incredible. And there's been some guys putting on some pretty good performances the last handful of days. Obviously, Tristan Newton.
Yeah, the triple-double.
Had a triple-double.
Happy birthday being sung to Cam Jones, who has his 3rd 30-point game this month.
He can really score.
Foul on the floor against the Golden Eagles. Lindsay Oliveri tonight now 1 for 9 from distance. This will be one that he'll need to quickly forget about. Same with the rest of his teammates as they stare down a pair of dates with Georgetown and DePaul. Meanwhile, Marquette will still have 3 quad 1 opportunities to go to bolster their NCAA tournament resume. Now they need some help from the projected 1 seeds right now.
Yeah.
In order to leapfrog the likes of Houston, Purdue, Arizona.
Got a big one next Saturday in Omaha, CHI Health Center.
Huge.
Blue Jays, Golden Eagles. Get your popcorn ready for that one.
On Big Fox. And then, of course, the rematch with UConn. Last week of the season. Get double bags of popcorn for that.
No doubt about it. Look at that.
That is arguably the toughest last 4 games of the Big East slate.
You got 2 teams fighting for their tournament lives in Providence and Xavier, and then you got 2 teams in Creighton and UConn who are 2 of the best teams in the country. 2 top 10, top 15 level teams. Obviously, UConn, #1 ranked team in the country.
Usman fouls out today with 6 points. Kachi Nze comes back into the game. So this will be Xavier's 4th consecutive loss. in Big East play. And they have been right there in a couple of them. Two of those losses were by single digits. Of course, the heartbreaker at home to Providence.
Yeah, heartbreaker on the road at Villanova. Yep. Desmond Claude had a point-blank layup that didn't go down.
This team has 5 quad 1 losses by single digits.
Yeah, we were talking about that Houston game as Cam Jones just on one.
Come on, Cam Jones. Are you serious? 34 ties his career high set on Wednesday night. And a 3-ball goes down for Xavier. Quincy Oliveri's second.
Back-to-back 34-point games for Cam Jones. Well, I think it's clear if you play Cam Jones on his birthday, you better watch out.
At 22 last year on his birthday. Step back 3. Today 34. You better jack up another one quick, because I think
so too.
I think Shaka's going to the bench here. Green, great feed into Swain, and a chance at a 3-point play. Freshman to freshman. A look at the future of Xavier basketball, but it has been Cam Jones's day on his 22nd birthday. 34, Nick Bob.
Well, this is the equivalent of blowing out the candles on your birthday cake. A step back 3 for 34 for Mr. Cam Jones.
Well, if you've been watching this game, you know we've been talking a lot about EGB's energy-generating behaviors. Marquette tracks them all game long. I don't know if there's a team in the country that gets more hyped for those types of plays than Marquette as we go inside their huddle.
Hey, listen, I like that. I like that. All right? Just win this round of EGBs, okay? Doing a great job diving on the floor. Those loose ones have to be ours.
You want to know, people talk about what is culture. People throw out that word. That right there is culture, where they are absolutely all in on what Shaka Smart wants this program to be. EGB, energy-generating behaviors. Diving on the floor for a loose ball, high fives, dabs, deflections, steals, anything that is going to be a catalyst for energy for you and your teammates falls under that umbrella. And Marquette lives out that mantra. Like, it's not just words with them. They genuinely are all in on that.
You just said something, culture. It's such a buzzword in college sports nowadays, but we had the opportunity to ask Shaka Smart about how culture has evolved. And he told us a story last year after this team was stunned in the second round of the NCAA tournament, losing to Tom Izzo at Michigan State. He said, "This is how sick and twisted I am. I went down a deep, deep dive, researching everything I could about Michigan State." He stumbled upon an interview with assistant coach Doug Wojcik, in which he talked about all the time Tom Izzo spent this year shuttling players to and from their dorm, having extra sessions with them one-on-one. And the light bulb went off for Shaka Smart. He said, "We didn't do that enough." As Lowry misses off the mark, and the rebound Oliveri. This year, Nick, he told us he spent double the amount of time on those types of culture-building activities, the one-on-one sessions. And it's paying off.
Yeah, when your coach is willing to walk with you to class, shuttle you to class, go have lunch with you, those little things go a long way. And something Shaka Smart talks a lot about is just relationships within his program with his players, even with his family. There was a lot of family members at shoot-around today for Marquette. You just feel it when you're at Marquette shoot-around. It feels special.
Green fouled on an aggressive drive, and he will head to the free throw line. 12 points tonight for Trey Green. And Shaka Smart has his team poised for a 12-4 record in the league play, continuing to keep pace with the other teams in the top 3. They will stay a game ahead of Seton Hall. And they want the 2 seed to get back to that Big East Tournament Championship game, which they won last year against Xavier. And you got to think what that might mean for the tournament championship if UConn's the 1 and Marquette is the 2. Could we see a third meeting of those two teams?
It's very possible.
I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse.
But
here.
at the same time, I know everybody says that, oh, this conference tournament's going to be crazy. Big East tournament's going to be wild. I know UConn separated themselves a little bit, but from Seton Hall to Butler to Providence to Villanova, all those teams on any given night are capable of beating anybody. And Creighton beats UConn this week and then turns around and loses at St. John's. I mean, look at that. From Butler all the way up, the balance is incredible. And you're going to have teams that feel like the NCAA tournament is there for the taking. So there's going to be a lot of motivation.
4 teams right now, according to Mike DeCourcy, between that last 4 in and last 4 out. And you referenced a couple of those. Villanova, Providence, Seton Hall, I feel like is squarely in, but they're still hovering on a lot of pundits' bubble watch boards. What a year Seton Hall has had, coached by the second-year Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah, certainly Danny Hurley replacing Sanogo, Jordan Hawkins, Andre Jackson, no easy task. But what Shaheen Holloway has done, retooling that roster and getting Kadari Richmond to go to another level, really impressive.
Oliveri is going to come out probably for the last time tonight. Banged his head a little bit. Ben Colbert will come back in. And Oliveri, if his day is done, 14 points. Just 2 for 11 from distance. Some of those were open looks, but Marquette made him work to find shots all night.
And that's what Shaka Smart said. Didn't say you want to shut him down. He said we got to make him inefficient.
Yeah. Brown drives, left it off the mark. Rebound Inze, and he was fouled. Well, we talked a lot about Cam Jones. It is his 22nd birthday after all. Ties a career high with 34 points. Meanwhile, Tyler Kolek with his 6th double-double of the season. And when those two are going, this is a hard team to stop.
And when those two guys are firing all cylinders, Marquette is lethal. But even a guy like Oso Ighodaro, who didn't necessarily have a crazy day stat-wise, just 12.6 rebounds, but he drew 6 fouls, and his versatility offensively really unlocks a lot for this team. He's really good in those pick and rolls that helps Kolek get rolling. And then defensively, how he can switch and guard. Just always want to make sure you're giving Oso Ighodaro enough love, too, when you're talking about Marquette.
Because he is the connective tissue for this team, in the words of Shaka Smart. Doesn't always show up in the stat sheet, but he is so crucial to everything they do offensively.
It's just not a lot of teams that have anybody that's a great matchup for Ighodaro.
He's a problem.
Yes.
And the NCAA tournament is just so much about matchups. You think, well, this Marquette team could go really far. It's really dependent on where they're at regionally and who is in their section of the bracket.
Well, yeah, a lot of coaches will tell you it's not as much about seeding as it is matchups.
Right.
Where there's a world where you're a 3 seed and you would rather be the 5 seed because of just the matchup. And it's all how that shakes out in March. Certainly it's a tough draw for Marquette to have to take on Tom Izzo and Michigan State in the 2nd round. That's certainly not nobody's asking for that at the start of the year.
By the way, first collegiate points for Ben Colbert at the free throw line. Shout out to you, Mr. Colbert. But conversely, Nick, if I'm a potential opponent of Marquette, They are a team I don't want to see on the first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
No, they're going to test your ball handling. They're going to test your pick and roll coverage. They're going to test your five-man's defensive ability with Iguodaro. They're going to test your toughness.
And they're going to make you earn every point you score in the half court. They've locked Xavier down in the final 11 minutes of the first half in the half court. And Jonah Lucas drills a triple, his first points of the season.
Shot that with confidence.
Good game for Trey Green. He has 16, most points he scored in a Big East game this season, and the shot clock is turned off. At Fiserv Forum in front of a sold-out crowd, Nick Ba, the Marquette Golden Eagles will win their 10th game in their last 11.
The stars were stars for Marquette. Cam Jones, Tyler Kolek, also Iguodaro. Those three guys led the charge. And they made life really difficult on the Xavier Musketeers. Pretty good day for Shaka Smart and Marquette.
Cam Jones ties his career high with 34 points on his 22nd birthday. Tyler Kolek with his 6th double-double of the season. And Marquette picks up their 21st win of the year. Final score, Marquette 88, Xavier 64 for Nick Ba, our entire Fox Sports crew. I'm Matt Schumacher saying so long for Fiserv Forum. We've got Soccer Match Day coming up next right here on FS1.